Hello and welcome back to the show. West Ham beat Everton 2-0. I'm sleep deprived, but it's not because I didn't get enough sleep. It's because I've watched Everton Football Club play a game of football. Honestly, this is probably the most pathetic response I've seen. To all the criticism, all the pressure, the stakes, the importance of winning this game. And the response was nothing short of atrocious. Now, I watched half this game and I'd seen enough. It was that uninspiring, that predictable. That was basically the game style the whole time. Very easy for West Ham to pick everything off every single time we got past halfway. The way we were playing, the lack of urgency, it was almost as if we didn't realise the high stakes of such a game. Every time you go forward, we had DCL up front by himself yet again. No change. Once again, you expect things to be different when you don't change, and look what happened. Look, there was no support even when we got remotely close. It happened very, very few times in this game, or very few times in the half that I watched, but, regardless, every single time we paced forward and it looked like we had a little bit of, momentum pushing forward, there was never anyone to support the player running with the ball. And it just happens week in, week out, the same shit. The first goal we conceded, Idrissa Gana Gueye, was flat-footed and completely ball-watching. He had Jared Bowen right by his side before the cross came in and just basically left him to run and attack the ball. And that's really been another common trend of all the goals we've been conceding in recent weeks. We go back to, when we were trying to press forward the few times we were pressing forward. Mykolenko, we were trying to play through him, and I don't know why, because it's very clear that he's not comfortable in pushing higher up the pitch and getting involved in, more attacking play. It's very simple. The crosses are really unproductive. Every single time we get into the final third, he shits himself and basically goes backwards and passes to no one that's really going to make an impact on the play. And that was one of the many reasons why we looked simply aimless in every single attack. I couldn't tell you what we were trying to manufacture, but it obviously was never going to manifest itself. It was so clear we didn't know what we were doing. We basically went forward, hit a wall, and then went backwards. We were just not very willing to take any form of risk. Granted, I don't think the players are good enough to, bite off a difficult pass. But even so, there was no desire to even do that. And I just want to run you through a couple of stats to really, summarize the calamity we are in right now. Southampton, 1 win in 9 Premier League games. The win was against us. West Ham, 1 win in 8 games. The win was against us. Bournemouth, 1 win in 11 Premier League games. The win was against us. Wolves, 2 wins in 9 games. One of those wins against us. And Leicester, 2 wins in 8 games and 1 win of those being against us. So it's just becoming an extreme worry because these games that you need to, be picking up at least a point in, especially, given we've been shithouse all year. Those opportunities are just being let to slip. And it's really going to cost us come the end of the season if we get relegated by a couple of points. And right now, it's not looking very good at all. To really summarize, the fact that we haven't been able to create anything, absolutely anything. Our XG, I know that's not a great gauge of, trying to, measure the actual chances you had, but West Ham 2.5, Everton 0.5. In an entire game where we had 68% possession and over 700 passes, we could only manufacture 5 shots and 2 on target. Seriously, I don't understand really what is going on with this system. And I've been very kind on Frank Lampard, and I've given him a pass in the sense that he hasn't had DCL to, sort of navigate things and have a real threat up top. But now that excuse is invalid. And we look equally as weak as we were prior to him coming back. And the system looks so bad and so disjointed and so dysfunctional that you can't, let it slide any longer. You have to hold Frank accountable and simply put, we're not staying up with him as manager. The most alarming thing is the fact that Fahad Mashiri post-game was interviewed and he said, it's not my decision to sack Lampard. Well, whose fucking decision is it? I mean, if this isn't a huge red flag, then I don't know what is. Because if he doesn't even know what he's doing sacking managers, then what faith do we have he's going to bring in a manager that's going to be inspiring and keep us up and help us play an attacking brand of footy? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous he had the guts to say that out loud when he is the owner of such a prestigious football club that is really down in the dumps right now. And for him to say he is not the decision maker in that really summarizes how clueless not only Fahad Mashiri is, but the board is. We simply, the fans, have the same amount of knowledge with regards to the direction of this team as the board and the owner. They don't even know what the future holds. They don't even have any future planning. That has been it this whole time. Honestly, seriously, you could go into a Twitter thread and see more organization there than you would see in an Everton boardroom. It's absolutely diabolical. And to top things off, let's just say this. Newcastle have conceded one Premier League goal since October. And obviously we know it's just about February. We're knocking on the door. One Premier League goal they have conceded since October, and in a very similar position last year. We, on the other hand, have not won a game since October 22. To the day, it's 3 months. And obviously, it's not looking good. You have to sack the manager, but the problem is we are dawdling, and it's driving me absolutely insane that we continue to let this drag on. We should have done it ages ago. But here we are with only 8 days in a transfer window left. Dan Juma is our only signing, and he's a loan deal. And he's not exactly going to get us out the mud, especially with the system that's being run. We look probably the worst I have ever seen. It is so hard to justify waking up for or watching the replay for. And I can't imagine what it's like for Evertonians who actually can be asked going to the games, watching the games. I mean, I have no words. That'll do it. Share your thoughts about what the direction of this club even looks like. I don't know. I seriously don't know. I'm lost for words. 2-0. Gutless, toothless, weak, dysfunctional. There's so many words you could just roll out and continue to say, because there's so many different ways you can describe this football club, and not one of those is even closely associated with any form of good. So I don't know what to say. Enjoy the next 2 weeks, because there won't be any Everton football in that time. So please embrace that, because I mean, God knows what is in store for the final 18 game weeks of the season. Probably 18 game weeks too many, but we'll see what the final 8 days of this transfer window holds, whether we have a new manager, whether we get some signings. We know exactly how it's actually going to go down. But yeah, here's hoping that something manifests. I don't have any hope. I don't have any confidence. That'll do it. Have a good one.